This week we're going to be using Artoo.js, which is a data scraping tool that's based on JavaScript and runs in your web browser. It's great because it allows you to use all of the things that you learned working with CSS and jQuery to scrape data. So to get started with Artoo.js, the first thing you need to do is go to the website and activate your bookmarks bar. Assuming you're working in Google Chrome, what you need to do is click on the menu on the upper right hand side and select Bookmarks, Show Bookmarks Bar. You can now add Artoo.js to your bookmarks bar by clicking on this giant icon of R2D2 and dragging it to your bookmarks bar. In order to test your Artoo.js setup, scroll down just a little bit, select and copy the provided code sample. Then click the link to Hacker News. Once you're here, you'll need to open up your JavaScript console. To do this, type Command-Option-J. The JavaScript console is typically used by developers to debug JavaScript problems on web pages, but it can also be used to enter JavaScript commands into web pages. Click the R2 bookmark to activate R2. Now paste the code that you copied earlier into the console and press return. A data.json file should download to your computer. If you open the file, you'll see all the data that R2 has gathered for you. In this case, it's all of the headlines and URLs to the articles on Hacker News. For the next part of this week's assignment, we're going to use GitHub, which is a web-based source code repository that provides source code management, including version control, a web-based graphical user interface that allows you to track bugs, feature requests, task management, and discuss the project. It's great for distributed groups of people who want to work on the same project together, and we'll be using it for the next few weeks of this class. Navigate to the Collective Methods GitHub repository. This is where you'll find additional R2 examples, and you'll also post your work here this week and in the weeks to come. Click on the R2 directory, and a README file will load. This README file contains the installation instructions and also some additional examples. Example 4 allows you to scrape data from a Reddit page related to comments that users have posted. Highlight the example code, copy it, and click on the link that's provided. If I open up the JavaScript console again, Command-Option-J, click on R2, and paste my code, hit return, another data.json file will download. These data files that R2 is creating are called JSON files, and they're based on a JavaScript syntax. But they're highly portable and can be used in processing, Python, and many other situations as well. The format of this data is determined by our use of R2, in conjunction with the use of jQuery. You can see here that this file contains information about the author, the number of disliked comments, unvoted comments, and liked comments, as well as the comment itself. Let's take a closer look at this example. Reddit comments is an array that we'll use to store all the comments into. The next line contains variables that we'll use when we're scraping data. R2.scrape is the command that tells R2 to scrape data, and .entry is the selector that we're using to tell R2 what to scrape. This function here is called against the data that R2 returns. And you can see on the first line here, we're getting the author. We do this by calling jQuery and passing in the results of the data scrape, represented by the keyword this. We then ask jQuery to find, within the R2 results, anything with a class of author. And finally, we get the text of that element. We do this for all the additional properties that we want to get as well. Here, we're testing to see if the author actually exists. And if so, we're creating an object to store all of this data into a single data structure. Then we push that data into the array, so we have a complete list of all comments. The final parameter of this scrape is also a function that handles saving the data to a JSON file. There are several more examples for you to try. Once you're feeling confident, start by modifying the existing examples, and then work your way up to creating your own R2 scrapes. Once you've created your R2 scrapes, come back to GitHub and click on the plus sign next to the R2 directory. This will allow you to create a new file. Here you can paste your code. You should also add HTML pre-tags before and after your code to preserve the formatting. You can also use Markdown to format your file. Markdown is similar to HTML, except it has a lighter weight syntax. Here, I'm creating a heading by using a single hashtag in front of the text that I want to become the heading. Next, I'm using 6 hashtags to create a smaller heading. This is just like the h1 and the h6 HTML tags that you would use to create headings in HTML. You can also create links, or anchor tags, by putting a URL inside of parentheses. Be sure to add links if your Artoo scrape is meant to work in a particular page. When you're finished, name the file with your net ID and be sure to give it a .md extension. Scroll down so you can commit your file to GitHub. When you make a commit, it's expected that you're going to leave a comment explaining any changes that you made. Then click Commit New File. You can make edits to your file later by clicking on the name of your file in the list here, and then going over to the little pencil icon and clicking Edit this file. When you're finished, just commit the changes. Don't worry too much yet about how you're going to use the data. Just try to think of interesting data sources and how you can use Artoo to scrape that data. Try to come up with at least 5 different scrapes. Good luck.